you can only imagine and I talk about this ad nauseum as well, the spam I get on email and LinkedIn, people trying to pitch me, digital marketing, lead gen solutions, and I delete all of them because their messages are horrible. And I'm thinking, well, if this is how you're reaching out to me, what in the world would make me want to do business with you? And, you do basically really high touch solutions. So Ted, how do you really separate yourself from the red ocean?
Yeah. So it's a great question. Actually, the Blue Ocean was a book that I read.
Yeah. Blue Ocean Strategy.
Blue Ocean Strategy that got me thinking about this.
Good.
So again, we focus on a very niche audience.
Okay.
B2B, 11 to 50 employees. You're either a professional service provider or you're a distributor and manufacturer. Those are two very underserved communities because one, as a marketer, you don't typically dream of helping, a mid-size M&A law firm or a data research company or a company that sells playground equipment. It's just not something that you aspire to. You want the Nikes, you want the Lululemons, you want to, I'm a New England Patriots fan. You want to do marketing for the Patriots, right? Like those kinds of things. Don't hate me. I know you're in Colorado, but either way, the idea is that there is an underserved market who has a pain, like you said. Like I have this one client, I love him, where he's an older gentleman, professional service provider, again, B2B company. They do liquor licensing and cannabis licensing. And when he first came to us, he was like, oh, you people have screwed me out of so much money, right? And he didn't want to work with us. No surprise
that was his experience. Yeah.
Right? Yep. That was that. And he didn't want to work with us.
Yeah.
And his COO, though, is kind of, my age, and she's the one in charge of growing the company. He's older and COVID had just happened and he is in the at-risk group because he's a senior citizen.
Yeah, right.
Right? Or senior-ish citizen anyway. Yeah. And so she's like, well, we got to try something. And it's usually a 6-month minimum program that we do. And within the first 6 weeks, gentleman is like calling a come to Jesus meeting. Like, you guys are screwing our, and he started saying that. And I had one of my account managers there and he's like, well, actually, within the 6 weeks, and 6 weeks is not early. Like we're still just trying to get to know each other.
Right.
But we've already beaten your main competitor on Google. He had terrible rankings. We already beat your main competitor on Google and we got you 5 leads and you landed 1 deal already. And this is on Zoom, right? And so he's like, kind of like he's got his arms crossed. I don't know if you see me, but he's got his arms crossed and he's looking at the camera. But his COO's there.
Body language.
That body language. And then he turns to his COO and she's like, yeah, it's so-and-so client. And he literally went from arms crossed like this to, young man, it's an honor and privilege to work with you. And it was like, whoa. And so it's been great. We've been getting them a ton of projects. They get usually 5 or 6 deals a month. Their close rate's higher now. It's 45, I think, % of all the leads that we get for them, which is pretty good, right? And so it's slightly blue. I wouldn't call it like completely blue ocean. We're not like Cirque du Soleil or whatever they said in the book. And it did give us an ability. The other thing is that our secret sauce is we marry creative content with data. You sometimes will have a creative company that knows nothing about social or SEO or PPC, or you have a PPC company or an SEO company that just wants to get you ads, but they have no idea, like you said, how to build a relationship online, right? How to speak to the audience that's compelling, because advertising, people block out. Content, people fall in love with. So how do you make it from ads to content? So I do co-host a podcast called Marketing News Canada. And one of the guests that came on, he's out of South Carolina, and he said, you got to make bingeable content. You got to make content like people consume Netflix. And I never thought of it like that, but it's true, because when people start actually researching, they want to read everything at once. But if you have a plethora of content on your website, or you can, take long form content and make it into snackable pieces to put on social, it's a really good way for you to be seen as a thought leader and a trusted advisor. And that's kind of what we've done for a lot of our clients. And I mean, it's worked.
So when was it that you discovered, Ted, that you were focusing, in the B2B space, primarily service providers in the 11 to 50 employee range? How did you come to that?
It's like anything in life. It's kind of trial and error.
Yeah.
I had mentioned, when we first started, we were working with junior mining companies. And that was because one of my friends in college, his dad ran a junior mining company. And so hey, they need that, right?
Sure.
And then I bumped into somebody after the Olympics in Vancouver, and they wanted us to, happens to be a developer, and he wanted us to do development. And so when I first started the lead generation digital marketing, it was not, we were focusing on B2B. Again, it's like, B2B, what are we talking about? And can we do it? Because I'll tell you another story is that remember that I did the pivot. Everyone was so jaded. I'm like, we're going to do lead gen digital marketing. I will pay for courses. I've already registered the company. I'll pay for courses. Who wants to take it? No one took me up on the offer. So I'm like, screw you guys. I'm going to take the course myself. So I went down and took the course myself. And the final assignment was a project that you could do on any kind of company. You had to show a digital marketing plan. So I did one, and I swapped the school logo with my logo and put my client's name into the plan. One of my trusted clients. So I went up to my client, I showed him the PowerPoint. I'm like, so what do you think? Is this something that you would buy? And it's the same thing as I did, the very beginning of the company. So what do you think? Do you think this is something you would like? Oh my God, that's exactly what we need.
Right.
Oh, so how much do you think you would pay for that? And they'd be like, I'd pay this much a month. I'm like, okay, well, here's my contract. Funny enough, this is going to work. And so that's kind of how we did it. And over time, we realized, okay, we were more successful than others. And then we just started pattern recognition, right? You have the data, what's effective. And it very quickly showed B2B, we're way more successful. Professional service providers, we're really good at. Distributors and manufacturers, which you'd never think. Like I have a playground company. They have to target landscape architects. They have to target municipalities. I have another client that's a data research company that has to target, Amazon and Nintendo size clients they're trying to target their directors of research. Like who does that? But my data team so I had to bring on a data team. They have been so precise at it. And then we have really good content, and then voila, it's working.
That's terrific. So you have, let me see, where was my next question? I had it in my mind, and then I've got guys putting in windows and hammering outside my window. It distracted me. I have to assume that you get your prospects via how you get other people prospects, through your own digital marketing, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a great team in-house, obviously. And to be truthful, it was a bit of a challenge at first, because it's kind of like that cobbler's children. I don't think you've ever heard of that. Like the shoemaker's children have shoemaker's children. Yeah. Right. And so, we were so busy with client work that the business stuff got on the back burner. Our website just launched earlier this year. It took 18 months to build. Right.
Wow. Yeah.
Because we were so busy with other client work. So we actually had to make it that Ballistic Arts, my company, had to be a client in my company. Yes. Where I'm the client, and then they have designated hours. I don't care. You have to do it. Still not perfect, but we're starting to happen. And so we get, we have a lead goal. Things are happening. Some of our new bigger clients have come from that, and it's been fabulous.
Great.
So, away we go, and we do the same thing that we do with our clients. In fact, we're probably doing a little bit more because I'm willing to invest in that, because I have internal resources.
Right.
But yeah, you gotta do that, but it doesn't mean that it's the magic bullet. You still have to have a good product. You still have to be good with people.
Well,
you still have to build a network.
Yeah.
Right.
Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.